So first of all, when we're first told that we might need to use donor eggs from the doctor, it can be really hard. You're letting go of that dream of having that mini-me child. You might have lots of siblings that you look like. You might look like your mum. That genetic connection is going to be lost. You might be an only child and feel devastated that your family line is going to end with you. So it's a loss, and it can feel like quite a shock. You might feel quite numb and not really know how to process your emotions at the time. And you could feel really isolated. Not many people know other people that are on a donor egg pathway because it's not talked about a lot. And that's really hard, and you need to allow yourself space and time for the news to settle. Hopefully you've got a support person in your life that you can talk to, process how you're feeling, and often you can feel numb and empty, and just to give yourself permission, that's okay. It's a coping mechanism. It's a normal response. Shock, when you've got awareness of this, you might have other feelings start to come into it, and this is all a natural and normal part of grief. So next, you might feel in denial. Some people feel really angry as well about having to use donor eggs. They're like, absolutely not. I've spoken to so many women who've been faced with this and have moved through it and are pregnant now, but look back to when they were told a few times that they had to use donated eggs, and they were just like, no way. It would make them feel really angry. No way am I going to be doing that. That is just not the path for me. It can bring like quite a visceral reaction. You want to shut this part of you down. You want to squash those feelings down. Just don't want to accept that you have to find a donor and this is the end for your own eggs. It's a hard pill to swallow, and you might just think, oh, I'm going to be the one that has that miracle child. This is all normal. It's a completely normal phase of the grief process to be in denial, and you might just want to distract yourself. Things that you can do to work through that denial is, first of all, just accepting that it's part of the grief process. Having awareness means that you can move through this. Quick journaling about your feelings can be really helpful. And sometimes a beautiful thing to do is write a letter to the child that would have been with your own eggs, and just explain to that child that you wanted to bring into the world that you're moving on from this because this is the only option for you, and just allowing those feelings to come out and writing those feelings out as a letter to your own egg child can just help that process of moving on to the next stage. So after the denial stage, you can feel guilt and pain, and that real sadness can start to come up in waves for you. Perhaps you feel guilty because, if you've got a partner, you can't give your partner a baby of your own. You might feel that your body has failed you, and you start feeling really disconnected to your womb space, or angry with your body, angry with your reproductive system for not working like it does for everybody else. And we can start feeling a bit of that whole victim feeling of, why me? Why can everybody else pop out babies left, right and centre and I can't? And you can feel the loss of the years of trying, that limbo state that you've been in for years, and the financial loss as well, because going through IVF is expensive. It's a financial loss too. So there's so many different layers to this journey and to the grief that you're going through. So it's just really helpful to be aware of all of that and give yourself quiet time to process these feelings. Be gentle with yourself. Make sure you're supported, and understand that your emotions are the gateway to acceptance. And when you can start to accept where you're at, you can then start to move forward. But there's also that kind of feeling of being in a rush because you want to get on with being a parent. So often we just push on and push through, going through the physical steps, the medical steps that we have to, without allowing ourselves time for our emotions to catch up. And that's where we can then get hit by an avalanche of emotions down the track. So it's good just to be aware of all of these things And yeah, understanding that when we do tune into our emotions just want to guide us. They're like our inner navigation system. So if you're feeling sad, that is just guiding you towards finding some healing and giving yourself space and time for some serious self-care and healing.